What if everything you've ever done, every choice, every sacrifice, every dream you chased or gave up on, wasn't random at all? What if there's a hidden pattern behind why you do what you do? Think about it. Why do some people push through pain while others give up at the first sign of struggle? Why do some chase love while others crave power or certainty? What if every emotion, every decision, every reaction is being controlled by an invisible force you didn't even know existed? You see, we all think we're in control, that our lives are built by logic and reason. But the truth is, we're being driven by something far deeper, something that shapes every moment of our existence. The way you love, the way you fight, the way you dream. It's all being pulled by the same 6 invisible strings that decide your destiny. And here's the most shocking part. The moment you understand why you do what you do, you can finally break free from what's been holding you back. You can rewire your mind, redefine your purpose, and reshape your future. So stay with me. Because once you see the truth behind your behavior, you'll never look at your life the same way again. What if everything you've done in life, every choice, every risk, every mistake, was never random? What if the reason behind every action you've ever taken was written deep in your psychology? The truth is, every human being on this planet is driven by the same 6 needs, but the difference lies in which ones control you. Some people will do anything to feel certain, to know they're safe, stable, and in control. Others crave variety, the excitement of the unknown, the thrill of surprise. Some chase significance, the need to feel important, unique, powerful. Others seek love and connection, the feeling of being deeply seen and valued. And beyond those survival needs come 2 spiritual ones, growth and contribution. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. And if you're not giving, you're empty. But here's the shocking part. Your entire life, your habits, your relationships, even your fears, are built around meeting these 6 needs. Some people drink, argue, or isolate just to feel significance. Others work themselves to exhaustion to gain certainty. 2 people can do the same thing for completely different reasons. One seeking love, the other seeking power. That's why understanding these needs is like finding the code to your own behavior. Once you know which needs dominate you, you can finally see why you do what you do. And more importantly, how to change it, because here's the secret. If you can meet all 6 needs in a healthy, empowering way, you become unstoppable. You no longer chase temporary highs, you build lasting fulfillment. The moment you master what drives you, you stop being a slave to your emotions and start becoming the architect of your destiny. What if every decision you've ever made, every risk, every hesitation, every yes and every no, wasn't based on logic at all? What if emotion, not reason, has been running your life from the very beginning? You tell yourself you make smart choices, but the truth is, you make emotional ones and then justify them with logic after. You didn't fall in love because it was practical. You didn't quit that job because it made sense on paper. You did it because of how it made you feel. Emotion is the invisible force behind everything we do. It's the fire that drives our behavior, the storm that shapes our destiny. Here's the shocking truth. Your brain can know what's right, but if your heart doesn't feel it, you'll never act on it. That's why people can have $1 million plan and still do nothing. They don't lack knowledge, they lack emotional energy. When you're angry, you act differently. When you're inspired, you act boldly. Emotion is the switch that turns potential into power. The problem is, most people let the wrong emotions run their lives. They let fear stop them, guilt cage them, and UBT paralyze them, not realizing that emotions can be trained. You can condition your nervous system to feel courage instead of hesitation, gratitude instead of stress, love instead of anger. Once you learn to direct your emotional state, your entire world changes. Because decisions made in fear lead to survival, but decisions made in passion lead to greatness. The secret isn't knowing more. It's feeling more of the right emotions at the right time. When you master emotion, you master decision-making, and when you master decision-making, you master your life. What if the biggest thing holding you back isn't your past, your environment, or your talent, but what you secretly believe you deserve? You can dream of success, visualize greatness, even work like a machine. But if deep down you think you're unworthy of it, your brain will find a way to sabotage it. Every action you take is filtered through one question: who am I? And your brain will always fight to stay consistent with that identity, even if that identity is destroying you. People say they want happiness, wealth, love, but their subconscious belief says, I'm not enough, and so they unconsciously push it all away. Here's the shocking truth. You don't get what you want, you get what you believe you deserve. That's why two people can face the same opportunity. One grabs it and grows, the other hesitates and hides. One sees a gift, the other sees a threat. Not because of reality, but because of belief. Your internal thermostat of worth controls everything. Your relationships, your finances, your health, your limits. Even when you achieve more, you'll find ways to return to what feels comfortable to your self-image. That's why people win the lottery and lose it all. Their results changed, but their identity didn't. The moment you raise your standards of what you deserve, your entire world shifts. Because your mind, your emotions, your actions, they all align to prove your belief true. When you start believing you are worthy of more, you start showing up differently. You make bolder decisions, attract better people, and demand more from yourself. And suddenly, what once felt impossible starts feeling natural. Change your belief, and your destiny has no choice but to follow. What if the real reason you're not where you want to be isn't because you lack time, talent, or resources, but because your focus is trapped in the wrong direction? Wherever focus goes, energy flows. And whatever you focus on continuously, you start to feel, believe, and ultimately create. Most people don't realize they're training their brain to fail, not because they want to, but because they obsess over what's missing, what's wrong, or what could go wrong. They focus on fear instead of faith, on pain instead of possibility. And your mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. It simply follows your dominant focus and brings it to life. Here's the shocking truth. The human brain is wired to protect, not to progress. It scans for danger, not opportunity. So if you don't consciously direct your focus, your mind will automatically focus on survival, on problems, on threats, on what you can't control. That's why so many people live in constant stress and anxiety. They're not broken, they're just focused wrong. When you focus on problems, you get more problems. But when you focus on solutions, your brain starts unlocking creativity, power, and resilience you never knew existed. Focus is the ultimate magnifier of destiny. It turns fear into paralysis or into fuel, depending on where you point it. And the moment you start training your focus on gratitude, growth, and goals instead of fear, failure, and frustration, your energy shifts. You start noticing opportunities that were invisible before. You start attracting people who vibrate on the same frequency. Your reality begins to rearrange itself around your dominant thoughts. Because life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you focus on relentlessly. What if, every single day, without even realizing it, you were programming your own brain? Not for success, but for struggle. Every thought you repeat, every emotion you relive, every story you tell yourself becomes a neural command, carving a pattern in your mind that shapes your future. Your brain is like wet cement. Whatever you impress on it hardens into who you become. Most people think they're thinking freely, but they're really just running old mental scripts, beliefs written years ago by fear, failure, and other people's opinions. And here's the shocking part. 95% of your decisions come from your subconscious programming, not conscious choice. Think about it. You say you want wealth, but your mind whispers, money changes people. You say you want love, but deep down you believe everyone leaves. You want success, but your subconscious says, I don't deserve it. And that's the software running your life. You can't install success on a system infected with self-doubt until you rewrite your mental programming. You'll keep repeating the same cycles, new goals, same results, different year. But the miracle happens when you take control of your state and start feeding your mind new commands, affirmations, visualization, gratitude, certainty. Because your brain doesn't care if a thought is true, it only cares if it's repeated. Feed it fear, it creates paralysis. Feed it power, it creates progress. The difference between the people who break through and those who stay stuck isn't luck, it's mental conditioning. Every day you're either reinforcing limitation or building liberation. And when you consciously start reprogramming your mind with empowering beliefs, your external world begins to shift like magic. Because your life will always follow the pattern of your most dominant thoughts. What if the biggest breakthrough of your life isn't waiting in the future, but hidden inside the pain you've been trying to avoid? What if the very thing you call your struggle is actually your greatest source of power? Most people spend their lives running from pain, distracting themselves, numbing themselves, pretending everything's fine. But here's the shocking truth. Pain is not your enemy, it's your teacher. Every time life hurts you, it's not punishing you, it's trying to awaken you. The problem is, most people interpret pain as a signal to stop, when in reality, it's the universe pushing you to grow. Think about it. No one grows in comfort. Comfort creates stagnation. Pain creates transformation. The gym of life doesn't build you through pleasure. It builds you through resistance. Every rejection, every heartbreak, every failure carries a message: evolve, expand, adapt. The difference between those who rise and those who crumble isn't pain. It's perception. The same fire that melts steel also forges a sword. Your pain can destroy you or define you, depending on how you use it. The secret lies in owning your pain instead of escaping it. When you face it head on, when you decide that your wounds will become your wisdom, your suffering transforms into strength. Every scar becomes a reminder that you survived something that once tried to break you, and now you're unbreakable. The moment you stop asking, why is this happening to me, and start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Your pain becomes your power. Because life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. And the ones who understand that truth don't just survive their pain, they rise from it, unstoppable, transformed, and alive. What if, after everything you've heard today, you finally realize that the power to change your entire life has been within you all along? Every decision, every emotion, every moment of pain and triumph, it was never random. It was guiding you, shaping you, preparing you to step into the version of yourself that's been waiting beneath the surface. You now know what drives you, what limits you, and what can free you. You understand that emotion, focus, belief, and pain aren't enemies. They're the raw materials of transformation. And when you learn to master them, you no longer live life by default. You live by design. The truth is, greatness isn't something you find. It's something you ignite. Every one of us has the potential to lead, to love deeper, to give more, and to rise beyond anything we've ever imagined. But it starts the moment you decide to stop blaming your past and start building your future. So take this moment right now and make a choice to live consciously, to act courageously, and to love relentlessly, because the world doesn't need more people who are perfect. It needs more people who are awake, people who are willing to take their pain, their passion, and their purpose and use it to light the way for others. So thank you for being here, for listening, for daring to grow. Remember, the real change doesn't happen when you hear these words. It happens when you live them. You have everything it takes. The next chapter is yours to write. Good luck. And never forget, your story is far from over. The best is yet to come. What if everything you've ever done, every choice, every sacrifice, every dream you chased or gave up on wasn't random at all? What if there's a hidden pattern behind why you do what you do? Think about it. Why do some people push through pain while others give up at the first sign of struggle? Why do some chase love while others crave power or certainty? What if every emotion, every decision, every reaction is being controlled by an invisible force you didn't even know existed? You see, we all think we're in control, that our lives are built by logic and reason. But the truth is, we're being driven by something far deeper, something that shapes every moment of our existence. The way you love, the way you fight, the way you dream, it's all being pulled by the same 6 invisible strings that decide your destiny. And here's the most shocking part. The moment you understand why you do what you do, you can finally break free from what's been holding you back. You can rewire your mind, redefine your purpose, and reshape your future. So stay with me, because once you see the truth behind your behavior, you'll never look at your life the same way again.